We're now about 35 games into the NBA season. We're headed into a new year. It's January, and you know what the talk of the town is. You know what time it is. When February and All-Star Week comes by, all we're going to hear about is who's working, who's not working, and where the trades are going to come. All for sports, about to get in it. The squad has been watching, sitting and waiting. Now we get the videos all the time because now we kind of see where the season is lining up. We're 40 games in and about, let's say, 42 games left in the season for most teams. We're looking at an experience here to see who's really going to make it into the playoffs and who needs to make moves right now because they're trending in the wrong direction. One thing I want to key in on today is really the conversation on one player, and this player is Dennis Smith Jr. He has been the talk of the market. There's a great article by ESNY, which you're looking at right now. Geoff Campbell, thanks for the work on this. I truly wanted to highlight how special Dennis Smith, a.k.a. Steve Francis 2.0 is, maybe 4.0. That means equal to if he gets an opportunity, if he gets his health in check. Let's go over the storyline. It's clear he's had injuries. He's had a family death. He is now trying to get in shape. He doesn't have the amount of minutes on the Knicks to be able to get those minutes to get back in shape. It's tough to get back in shape in season. A lot of X factors against Dennis Smith Jr. right now. He's just on a team that has a glut of guards. However, there is an opportunity to move him, to get him in the right situation from an all-star perspective, because I think he is an all-star on the right team, or he could just disappear. I think he needs to go to one of the lower tier teams that can give him all the minutes that he needs to be able to develop. All right. If he can't find that, he's going to go to a team where he can learn from somebody, right? And that's the other factor. That's also a good thing. Maybe back up somebody and play a prominent role for a playoff team looking to make a run. So with all that said, let's jump into it. Jump into the stats. And I mentioned this before. It's the teams from like the 5 to 11 spot that are looking to improve, that are looking to get upgrades. And if I look on the east side, from 5 to 12, as I highlighted, I really take a look at the 76ers and their situation. You jump into their roster, okay? On their roster. I don't like their lineup, okay? I don't like their lineup. Josh Richardson is now listed as a small forward. He's their guard. Neto is not having a bad season. Trey Burke is also a guard. Show me the point guard on this team. Even though Shake Milton is valuable, but he's really a G League star at this point. They're not utilizing him. And Josh Richardson is your point guard. Can you show me a real point guard on this team? I know Ben Simmons is the point forward. I know he has the ball in his hands most of the time, and I think that's an issue. The 76ers, if they can, for cheap, maybe a Neto, Shake Milton, I don't know, maybe a Mario Shayok, even though I think he can pay dividends. Can they make the trade to try to get Mr. Dennis Smith Jr. be a credible addition to this team, another punch, and possibly can make him a big three? I know Horford's there. He's an all-star. I'm not sliding him at the least. But Dennis Smith Jr. to me is another level. This is a team that I think can make a move. Pacers, I think they stay put, even though he would actually fit in very nicely with them as a backup, okay? Pacers, remember, they made some moves here, right? And I love this Google look on this thing. They made some moves. They got Aaron Holiday in the draft, but they got Malcolm Brogdon. I don't know how he fits in. I think Aaron Holiday's their future. I just don't see it working out for him with the Indiana Pacers. The Nets, however, are a team that have Kyrie Irving, and they're kind of doing well. And they're playing this game where they're adding their scoring forward, if I want to call him that. And I think a borderline all-star Spencer Dinwiddie. That experiment's going well. You look at that team, you say no bueno, okay? Real quick. Jumping in, the team that I love, and I mentioned this before, I've done several videos because I'm in the local area. This is really my home team, even though I'm a Jersey boy. We don't have a team. So Orlando Magic, hey, I think they could utilize him. Even though they have DJ Augustine and Markel Fultz, I think a Blazer-like lineup. I know the Blazers are struggling very, very, very deeply right now. And that's because of movement. They're not moving the ball enough. Can they have a Markel Fultz, Dennis Smith Jr. starting or positionless basketball on the Magic? And Dennis Smith Jr. gives them more in the scoring punch because Markel Fultz is an incredible defender. I tell you what, man, this looks like a great move for the Magic. If they can get him on the cheap, make a few trades, maybe some of the lower tier guys and move him, it'd be great. I don't want to slight Michael Carter Jr. I think he is imperative to this team. But maybe a Weston Windu, maybe a Melvin Frazier, some draft picks, or Alfariq Amino, they're not utilizing him. Is there an opportunity to move this kid for the cheap if you can without moving any of your core, Vucevic, Bamba? People hate on Terrace Ross, but I think you need him. Isaac or Gordon, those four, and Fultz. I think Fultz is there because he's committed to defense. I think you make the move and see what you can get. I would hate to part ways with DJ Augustine. And I don't think the Knicks would want him with their guard glut. But again, if you get these lower tier guys and a couple draft picks to get Dennis Smith Jr., I don't think there's anyone in the top 10 of the draft next year, outside of the top 5 in the draft next year, that's better than Dennis Smith Jr. So I would make that move. So Magic are a team you got to look at. Hornets, Rozier, Bulls, interesting. Very interesting with the Bulls. They're a dark horse. People are not thinking about them. But the Bulls are very, very interesting. And with their slot, they do have Kobe. I know. They got Kobe White. They got Mr. Dunn. But are they true point guards? And could Kobe really be? Is Kobe really a six-man? All right? And that's the question you got to ask yourself. Is he really going to be a superstar six-man on this team? Incredible scorer, can score at will, but can he facilitate? Dennis Smith Jr. can better facilitate than Kobe White at this point in his career. However, Kobe White's going to come along strong in the second half. We know how rookies come along once they get acclimated. I think the Bulls are a dark runner, and if they want to make a move for the future, having Dennis Smith Jr. alongside Zach LaVine, I mean, that's really a nice insurance policy. Two athletic players that can play alongside each other and really dominate the scoring end for the Bulls. And they can add some additional draft picks. And I would put them in the playoffs next year if they're able to get Dennis Smith Jr. to his full potential. Now, so outside of the East Coast, let's jump into the West Side. The best side, right? So they say, even though I'm East Side. West Side's the best side in the NBA because they have so much more talent. Look at the records. You can see it's a struggle. It's a war. And there's so many teams just vying for that 7th through 8th seed. They're so close to each other. 8 games separate the rest from the best, right? And I think, look at all the teams that are 13-21. I obviously see the Blazers have been a disappointment. So have the Kings. But there's so many teams still in the running. How does this play out? I'm just jumping in. The Mavericks used to have Dennis Smith Jr. I don't think they want him back with Mr. Luka Magic making things happen. But hey, if there was an opportunity to bring him back and he would understand his role, they could potentially have a sleeper big three if he could reacclimate himself into that type of role, playing off of Luka Doncic, because I think Dennis Smith Jr. can score. The Jazz don't need him. Done. All right. Thunder don't need him. Schrader, Paul are there. Spurs, interesting. All right, interesting. They're talking about all this trade talk on the Spurs, but look at their rank. They're number 8. They're 8th seed. Are they going to tank because they say we're not going to make it anyway? Let's look at their lineup and see who they got. And I think that's where we're going to learn a lesson here. They just don't need these type of players. All right, they just got DeMar DeRozan, who's probably on the move. DeJounte Murray's as the first guard, and then you got Patty Mills. Derek White's even playing that point guard role. It is tough for Dennis Smith Jr. right now. I just don't know where he fits in on his team, and if it's worthwhile of bringing him in. Is he an upgrade over a Patty Mills? Depends on the position, right? As a starter, for a future starting guard, obviously yes. If you're talking about from a bench role, he's not acclimated yet, and Patty Mills is as a 6th man. So I have to say no, he's not. Patty Mills picks perfectly as a six-man scoring punch off the bench. Dennis Smith Jr. is going to have to learn that position. DeJounte Murray, is he your future? It's a lot of question marks around the DeJounte. Hate to say, a lot of off-court stuff that needs to be resolved. And he's young, so I understand it. I get it. We were all there. We were just no cameras on us. He'll mature, and I think he'll get out of that stage with all the publicity that he's getting. Derek White, he's also a pretty strong candidate there at the point guard. He's more of a guard to me. I just don't see them making a move right now with all the talent that they have. I think they're making a strong push to get back in the game, and I think they should tank. I do think they should trade Aldridge. I do think they should trade Lorenzo and put them on some championship caliber team. I saw its trade situation for the Blazers. Get them on there, get draft picks, rebuild. They're not winning a championship with these guys, so I think that's a place. And if you do happen to make those moves, maybe you bring in Dennis Smith Jr. as an asset. But still, it's a question mark there. All right, I'm going to jump back up. All right, even with all the talk of the 5 through 12 teams, I'm going to go into some teams in the top that I think maybe can utilize Dennis Smith Jr. We talked about the Lakers. There's all this talk about Darren Collison. Cheap pickup, cheap money. Hey, I don't blame him. I still think Dennis Smith Jr. is better. Okay, I'm not going to get into the Lakers. I still think Dennis Smith Jr. is the better option for this team when you look at their roster. But people are sliding Caruso. I think Caruso is a good defensive big point guard. They got Rondo. They just need some shooting. Dennis Smith Jr. is not the greatest of shooters. Collison will be a better fit. So I'm not going to go to the Lakers. But the Nuggets, however, are a team that I've always questioned. If they had a superstar point guard, now you're going to say, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Who the hell is Mr. Murray, right? Oh, Canada, right? I would say I love Jamal Murray. I love his scoring ability. I don't like his facilitation. I don't like his ability to create on his own, even though he's good enough. He's probably 80%, which is better than average. He's not something to look over. However, Dennis Smith Jr. gives you another level. Even though Jokic really controls the floor in the middle and facilitates, I think Dennis Smith Jr. on this team would be an upgrade. Maybe a trade for Monty Morris, maybe a Gary Harris. I know they were looking to move him. They got Gary at a small forward position when he's a guard. So, interesting play there. I think he would fit in. I think they would make them one of the more athletic teams in the West. I could see the Nuggets possibly making a move for Dennis Smith Jr. It's interesting to see it, but maybe a Gary Harris move. Maybe Monte Morris upgrade that a little bit. I like this team, and I like Dennis Smith Jr. on this team. I think it would fit in perfectly. Now, back to the standings and back to the West. Went over the big guys that could potentially get them. Let's get into the smaller guys. Thunder, no. We talked about Spurs. No bueno. Trailblazers, hell no. They already got too much, but maybe. Suns. What about the Suns, right? The Suns have Mr. Rubio's having probably one of the better seasons. He's just in a tough West Coast. The West side is a tough side right now. And backup-wise, Javon Carter's there, a strong backup. So is Mr. Tyler Johnson. I don't know where he would fit in here, okay? Would he be an upgrade over all of these guys from a future prospect perspective? Yes. But then you got Elia Kubo and you got Jalen Lake that's doing so well in the G League. Don't sleep on Jalen Lake. Go take a peek at him. A Northeast product, doing great things, learning the role of a guard in the NBA. And I think he's going to be a nice pickup for them as they develop him. Just too guard heavy here, and I just don't know where he fits in. Again, and then a lot of these guys are ball dominant. It's becoming a James Harden-esque league where Booker is now handling the ball sometimes more than Rubio. And I don't know if Dennis Smith Jr. fits in there. Grizzlies, they have John Morant. Could they go two guards on this team? Could they take that risk? Look at their record. First year in, they're already in the playoff hunt with John Morant. Is there an opportunity to add John Morant, Dennis Smith Jr. side by side? I like the two-guard lineup. I think it's interesting. Maybe the Grizzlies make that touch. Let's see who's the backup point guard there as we look at that situation and who they need to add on. Grizzlies here, John Morant. Where's the backup point guard? All right, that's the question mark. Tyus Jones is there. Would it be an upgrade over Tyus? Yes. Could they play alongside each other? I think there's enough ball for that to happen. We can see the Rockets with two guys that can average 30, almost doing that with Westbrook and Harden. I could see this happening with the the Grizzlies, except they would lose a lot defensively because there's no guard there. All right, so I think this is another opportunity for Dennis Smith Jr. Now, continuing down on the West Coast, bang, bang, boom, Timberwolves, whew, they need a lot of everything. This would be his best situation, okay? If he was to go anywhere, this would be his best situation for Dennis Smith Jr. This and the Magic, they're trying to move Jeff Teague. All lights would be on him. If I were Dennis Smith Jr.'s agent, I would be pushing for a trade and trying to get to the Timberwolves. Maybe bring back the Marbury days. Teague is no sleeper, and everyone just keeps talking bad about the dude. Do you remember him in Atlanta? I mean, all-star almost 1 year. Let's stop all the talk. Teague's an amazing player, but he deserves to be on a championship running team or a team running for the championship. He's at that age where he can't mess around. I think you move Teague, you get him to a situation where he belongs, where he needs to be in a backup role. But hey, Dennis Smith Jr. here would fit in nice if they don't move Towns, if they don't move Wiggins. It'd be exciting to see those three playing with each other with a strong point guard that has the potential to be an all-star, and that's his best opportunity with the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Kings, I don't see anything there. The Pelicans, hey, maybe Alonzo Ball type of swap and try to get him now. Interesting on the Pelicans. That may be his next best move if they move Lonzo Ball. I think they're going to move Drew Holiday. So let's say that happens. Zoe is moved. It's probably not going to happen, right? But Zoe moves, Drew moves, and they bring in Dennis, right? Drew moves somewhere. Everyone's after him. I think he's the best available prospect that's attainable for most teams. I think that's a great move. However, I think Lonzo's coming on pretty well with the Pelicans. He's developed the jump shot. He's going to be a triple-double threat. He's not going to average 50. He's just one of those guys, Jason Kidd-esque, 15, 14 assists, 10 rebounds, 12 points. And that, I tell you what, that's magnificent in the NBA, and that's all-star potential if he can control the floor and put people in the right position. I like that from Zoe. It'd be tough to move him. He's 6'6", long arm, better defensively. Tough, but if you got to make the move, if Lonzo wants a bigger market, hey, get him to the bigger market so he can showcase his stuff. And Dennis Smith Jr. would go nicely with Zion Williamson. Those two would be the future of this team, and I would be excited to see that. Other than that, West Coast wise, Warriors, no. Tough market for Dennis right now, it really is. So it's the Nuggets, it's the Timberwolves, and it's the Pelicans as the dark horse here, I think, for an opportunity. In the East side, it's definitely going to be the 76ers and the Magic are the big runner there in the East. The Bulls, if they want to restart, they want to go with something else. And I think that's about it. I think that's as far as you go unless he wants to take a backup role to back up Trae Young there. But that would be difficult. I think this is a tough market for our boy. Now, one dark horse runner that I want to put out there, even though they're doing so well, is there an opportunity for the Bucks to improve their backup point guard position with Eric Bledsoe, who's been injured off and on? They need a point guard. Can they steal away a younger Dennis Smith Jr.? I like Frank Mason. I think he's a great backup. But can they upgrade that, right? Can they get something a little bit better? Maybe could potentially be better than a prime Bledsoe on the Phoenix Suns. Maybe. Think about that with the Bucks. Off Work Sports signing off, giving my analysis of the trade situations and one of my top trade prospects before the February comes in All-Star break. I think Dennis Smith Jr. will move. I'm giving his agent the best options to push for. Off Work, I'm out. Peace.